Today's ridiculous charade has made astonishingly clear that the United States Department of Justice has been weaponized by Donald Trump to ensure that the most massive cover-up in American history is carried out. And this is being enabled by Republicans in Congress, led by Republican Chairman James Comer and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. This entire Epstein investigation, led by Chairman Comer, has been absurd. We have two legal subpoenas against former Attorney General Pam Bondi. She is supposed to be here under oath today on video, answering questions for the American people about her role and the direct hand that she had in this cover-up. Instead, she is deflecting, she is refusing to answer questions, and she continues to refuse to answer specific questions about the President of the United States. It is so clear that whether it be Pam Bondi, whether it be Chairman Comer, whether it be Mike Johnson, the entire party is terrified of Donald Trump and his retaliation as it pertains to the cover-up of the Epstein files. It's unacceptable. It is notable that she continues to blame Todd Blanche and Kash Patel. We, of course, want to speak to them, but I think what I want to make clear to the American public and to everybody, and to the survivors especially, is that we are not going to give up on this. I think Republicans believe that they just kind of carry out these nonsense transcribed interviews and don't show up here today, that we will forget about this. We are just getting started as it pertains to accountability and justice for the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and any other rich and powerful person in this country who perpetrated these crimes.
Now, all of this, of course, is that the Strait of Hormuz was not an issue before the war. Now it is, and actually Iran has gone from being a pariah state to actually having significant leverage over the whole of the international community. So what was the war all about? Well, actually, it is worth remembering that most of the last 91 days we've been talking about the Strait of Hormuz. That's not what the war was about. It wasn't an issue pre-war. The war was all about nuclear. It was about Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon, which Trump was determined to stop, and also about enrichment of uranium. Now, the memorandum of understanding that looks to be about to be signed, the first priority will be to get the Strait of Hormuz opened. The nuclear issue, the core, will be conducted at some stage during that 60-day window. Most experts believe that will take years, not days, to resolve.
Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. June 3rd, 2026. Let's get into it. Sorry, I haven't been out making a hiking video for a while. We've just been getting, well, the forecast, we haven't been getting it. Like I said, the weathermen here in Florida are wrong most of the time. Let me get this out of the way up front on the video. By the way, that was a congresswoman talking about the Epstein files that we're never going to see. Trump's got to be in those Epstein files. That's the only thing that I can think of, because Netanyahu just told Trump to go fuck yourself, more or less. Pardon my French. So that's why these videos aren't for kids. You know, sometimes I got to get explicative. I know I shouldn't, but I don't make no money. I'm demonetized everywhere, well, except on BitChute. I think I've made like $4 on BitChute. So let's get the channels out of the way. If you didn't know, I'm developing a new channel on YouTube called The Burn Report. The Burn Report. I'm going to be shutting down the Florida Man News Network, Florida MNN. There's not many followers there to that follow me anyway, but I just want to make sure the few that do go ahead and subscribe to me at The Burn Report. Or better yet, I'm on Rumble at The Burn and BitChute at The Burn. I wish I could have gotten The Burn channel on YouTube, but it was already taken by someone. And then, of course, I'm on X at That CyberSec Guy. That was my old cybersecurity business Twitter handle, and I just stuck with it. I figured, why open up a whole new handle and confuse things, even though I didn't have at that time. You know, before Elon bought X, I only had 17 followers on Twitter. So anyway, we are getting up there in followers on X. It's getting to be between 2,500 and 3,000. That ain't bad. You know, plus I do a lot of replies, so a lot of people are aware of my account, even though, once again, I don't make no money.
What the? Are you rolling?
I'm rolling.
Oh my. Hey! What happened?
I can explain. Florida. Here we go. The ocean's bounty will provide us. I come from a long line of Floridians in distress. Those gorgeous jet skiers flashing me, all right? Whoa. Really hard to be me. That's the honest truth. What the? Hey, sorry. Come here. Get back here. Sorry.
Good evening. Our top story tonight. Florida man on nude beach menaces retiree with sausage.
There's two sides to every story. People think they know me. They don't. Because you can't. Mine is a result of living in paradise when paradise is trying to take you down.
Tonight's top story. Florida man drowning in pina colada saved by hotel lifeguard.
Still feels hot. This one was good. Shantae. Oh, it's not a total loss. Total loss, yeah. The longer you live here, the greater your chances for your luck to fall. Could be anything. Could be the perfect weather that comes and gets you. Could be the wildlife that surrounds you. Look at this. Beautiful, man. All right, I'll see you guys soon, okay? Gotta go do this. Have fun. I need help. I'm out of water. There are no more drops. I've been disoriented for a long time now. Everything's coming to a head, and I think I've been poisoned. Oh, I gotta get this. It's my agent. Okay. Hi.
Hey, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Fine.
Now, you want to explain this one, or should I catch it on the news?
Maybe you should come here and look at it.
I'm on my way.
Hurry. She's heading over, so I'm gonna try to clean up a little bit.
Big deal. Oh, my bones hurt. Lunch. My boss says you can't suck a tree. Oh.
Underwear-clad Florida man terrorizes garden party, drinks bird bath. It's coming up next.
I knew it. One thing, untouched by the flames. Man, I'm the luckiest guy. Hey, man, come here. I want to show you. With respect. There you go, young man. Very good. Careful, you don't want to put a hole next to where the satellite came through in the ceiling there.
The recovery team for a private space company got more than they bargained for today after a satellite crashed through the roof of a local Florida man. In a twist, the police have confiscated weapons. Anxious to see how this plays out, I'm Matt Muckaby, live in Dade County.
This thing is a dangerous toy. Whoa, okay, I think we should take it. If you reverse that, that'd look awesome. You guys want to come? You need a bathroom or anything? You could be snuck up on by any number of things. Next thing you know, you're bit.
Florida man robs a local restaurant with snake, flees scene.
Hi, oh, Stephanie, thank you very much.
Yo, is that a snake? Snake!
What the?
Hey, wait, did you see that?
This pool used to be really fun. Brought a lot of happiness to my friends, and me.
Go, 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 go! Go, Gator! Yeah, 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 yeah! Go, get doing it! Go, let's go! Run! Go, go! Go, you got it!
Florida man hosts a gator watch party where a neighbor loses a thumb. Really? This happened?
One floating slipper partially burnt. Kind of a metaphor for, Exactly.
So what actually caused the fire?
Lightning hit my grill. Then that transfers over to the artisanal coconut oils that I craft here in buckets. I was asleep and I smelled coconut shrimp. So I knew I was either in trouble or already gone. The smell saved my life. That's what happened.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
You might want to check this out.
That's just cruel. That's not nice. Okay, that one, I did do that.
Hey,
Gail!
great news.
Okay.
Found your policy.
Yeah.
Hold on to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hey, quick question. Why do you think all this bad stuff happens to me?
It's not because Florida, man. It's because Florida. Man. Woo.
How come it's taken my house burning down for someone to finally see my side of the story?
Well, that's what we do. Understanding the whole picture.
Only difference between you and me, honestly, is a headline.
Take care.
Okay, see ya. Check me out. Woo! Look at this. Perfect day. How's it looking out there? You still married? I never thought I could love another woman after I lost Lula 2, but I'll tell you what, boy, this Lula 3, it's easier than I thought.
Not Florida, man. It's Florida.
Man, all good from here on out.
A little choppy, hold on.
People often say my life is like a movie, which to me is laissez-faire. Well, I guess we are a kind of a movie, but this is the first time. Every other movie I've made is like gnarly.
All right, sorry to get all that out of the way. Let's get to Iran first, because I haven't got much on that to add. You know, Trump put out that he cussed out Netanyahu. That's all show, folks. I mean, I'm sure he probably did, but it's not going to matter. Netanyahu's got Trump by the balls, literally, and Trump's going to do whatever Netanyahu says. You know, I think he was trying to appeal to what's left of his base. I can't believe anybody still respects or, follows Trump, especially on Truth Social. But I guess there are some people that do. He wanted to look tough, but no, there's no ceasefire. The genocide in Gaza is still happening, and now they're genociding the people of Lebanon. Of course, we broke up Syria and put a terrorist in charge of that country. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe, because I hear the Syrians are kind of working on taking back their country. And, Jelani, he doesn't have a lot of support in Syria. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And when I see Syrians, I mean, it's the old military, the military that broke up. I hear that they've been kind of getting back together. So, not to fight the Israelis, but to take back their government. So, and then, of course, Hezbollah, they're still shooting rockets into Israel. And I hear I guess Iran has provided them with drones. I think I talked about this in a previous video. And they are really doing some damage to the IDF soldiers that are in Lebanon right now. I'm not sure how long they're going to be able to stay there, because those drones, Israel hasn't figured out, like Ukraine and Russia have, how to fight those drones. I've seen a lot of videos of guys getting blown up. And the other thing that's amazing, I wanted to talk about mainstream media, or legacy media, I prefer to call it, or mockingbird media, whichever three terms you want. If you didn't know, Israel kicked all the reporters out of Gaza. So there's been a media blackout in Israel and in Gaza. That's why you get no information coming out of Gaza. And of course, they've killed like 280 reporters that were reporting on stuff in Gaza. So, you know, all the reporters have either been censored or killed. But that's not true in Lebanon. There are a lot of Western reporters in Beirut that could be reporting on what's going on in Lebanon. And when I say what's going on, we got a video, I believe, on that. I'll put it right here if I do. And then we'll get to Ukraine in just a minute. But you would think that they would report on things. Oh, by the way, let's have some fun before we continue, because I know these videos kind of get depressing, but this is another Lego drop from the Iranians. Let's watch that.
76% of Americans now say the economy is getting worse because of the Iran war. That's according to Gallup. Worse than pandemic inflation. Worse than the post-Ukraine shock. And somehow, the same people who called Obama weak are now quietly saying his Iran deal may have been smarter. Now they say Obama's deal was better. Ain't that something? After all that shouting, after all that pressure, after all that America first discussion, now the same TV voices look uncomfortable, trying to explain how this happened. Yeah. Remember when they said the old deal dangerous? Said Tehran was seconds from becoming unstoppable. Said ripping up the JCPOA would save the West. Now look at the headlines, nobody sound impressed. Rubio every morning talking progress soon. Then tomorrow comes and moves the moon closer than ever every other week. Like confidence getting harder to speak. And Trump online typing in all caps rage, saying critics losers who don't know the page, claiming the deal gonna be good and proper, but nobody seen the details proper. That's the wildest part of this whole scene. America negotiating a deal nobody seen, while the strait's still partially locked in place and Mark is still nervous about global trade. You can hear confusion in the interviews now. Nobody fully sure what the plan allows. Hey! Now they say Obama's deal was better. After years of calling it surrender, now they say maybe diplomacy mattered. After the economy started shattering. Netanyahu wants every gram removed. Mike Flynn screaming Iran can't be trusted too. Lindsey Graham saying militia's getting stronger. Meanwhile, negotiations dragging longer. That's what chaos sound like in real time. Everybody talking over the same line. No clear message, no steady hand. Just different factions fighting for command. And Democrats sitting back half amused, saying, wait, it's worse than what y'all removed. Because Obama's deal at least has structure in place. Now America bombing first and searching for breaks. That's backwards strategy, that's panic math. You don't start fires and ask where the water at. And now sanctions released, back on the table again. The same thing Trump attacked back then. Billions possibly flowing under new terms. So what exactly did destruction earn? That question getting louder every day, especially when grocery prices climbing anyway. You can hear it in the silence now. Not confidence, not victory, not victory, just exhaustion. See this, bigger than politics now. Families feel it every time they check out. Fuel costs shaking entire supply chains. Markets reacting every time missiles rain. And people watching closely noticing cracks, because war slogans don't erase facts. The economy don't care about campaign lines or social media confidence at night. That's why the mood changed suddenly, because reality hit publicly, not through speeches, not through blame, but through ordinary people feeling pain. And now even Trump supporters asking love. If Obama's deal was terrible, then where'd this go? Because if the final outcome looks almost the same, minus the deaths, fear, sanctions, and flames, then history gonna ask one brutal thing: why attack Iran at all? Now they say Obama's deal was better. After all the noise and pressure, now they say maybe tearing it down was the moment everything turned around. Baby, the most dangerous thing a country can do is destroy imperfect peace without knowing what comes next. And if Obama's deal was really worse. Mr. President, why did America have to go to war just to end up negotiating again?
All right, those are so much fun. I just enjoy the heck out of them. I know some people, oh, it's rap music, man. I don't like the rap music. I don't like rap music either, but I just love the graphics. And I love making fun of Chump, you know, Emperor Trump the chump, Trump the pedophile. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I enjoy making fun of him. That son of a gun went back on everything he told us he was going to do. So, gas prices on the way out. We're, you know, getting off of the Israeli war. I mean, because there's really not much to tell you other than that, you know, like I said, Hezbollah's killing a lot of IDF. Israel's killing a lot of civilians in Lebanon, and they continue to exterminate the Palestinians. I think they've taken all the way up to about 70% of Gaza, the Gaza territory. So the Palestinians are all crammed down in like 30% of what was left of Gaza. Makes them easy to kill that way because they can group them in bunches, and then just one bomb kills a lot more Palestinians. So, you know, works out good for Israel. And that's, you know, that's another thing, you know, you got to think about that Trump. You know, Trump talks a good game and the MAGA base believes him. He could shut that war down, snap of his fingers. All he's got to do is quit giving Israel bombs and money. But that ain't going to happen. I was listening to a Democrat leader, and she was talking about, you know, why Trump, you know, has failed against Iran. Of course, the Democrats are going to use that to get votes in the midterms for sure. Trump's going to lose it. He'll probably lose the House and the Senate is my prediction. But I'm going to be voting third party because you're just putting in a uniparty. But in the same breath, I don't know if I can find the video, she went over and talked about the fact that, you know, we got to send more money to Ukraine. We got Los Angeles, Chicago. I mean, our cities have, pardon my French, shit on the streets. You know, people are homeless everywhere. We got homeless veterans. We got veterans committing suicide. And all that the Congress thinks about is sending money to Israel and Ukraine. Still, which is just blows my mind. I mean, their total disregard for the American people is just, it's in their face, man. I mean, don't you think it? I mean, I've just never seen anything like it. And you got people like Mark Levin and Cat Turd and, you know, some of the influencers. You know, Mark Levin was criticizing Trump for cussing at Netanyahu and said, we got to send more over there. Let's talk about the military situation 1 second. Okay, we have replenished some of our stock, obviously, slowly but surely. Iran has certainly replenished their stock. I forgot to tell you, Iran did hit Kuwait base. I got a video on that. Yeah, that was a missile, supposedly now. Iran put that out and said that was the missile that struck the Kuwaiti base. Because we struck, I don't know, we struck something in Iran. I can't remember what it was. That war is far from over. The only way that that thing's going to get shut down is when the global economy goes to hell. You know, once again, I'm going to emphasize to you, reason why I'm out and about today, another trip to Walmart. I make them about once a week, maybe less, but I'm just one dude. And I'm picking up $200-300 every single time. You know, looking around the house. I'm also ordering stuff from Amazon. I'm telling you, things are going to get rough. I know you're looking at the gas prices and going, hey, that cybersecurity guy. My gas prices aren't all that bad. In fact, I saw on the way out, one station had it for $3.50, another station had it for $4 here in Florida. But everything I'm hearing is the Strategic Oil or Strategic Petroleum Reserve, excuse me, the SPR, is getting pretty empty. And that they're only going to be able to take oil out of that for another like month or so. And then things really skyrocket. And if we do go back to war, which the Israelis are trying to get us to do, I'm expecting a false flag attack from Israel of some sort to get us back into war with Iran. Iran's going to shut down the Hormuz Strait completely, and they're also going to get the Houthis to shut down the Red Sea. So there'll be no oil, fertilizer, helium, all of the things that we need around. Oh, I forgot sulfur is a big one. You know, all these things I didn't know. You know, you learn about them in the crisis. All that stuff is going to be a shortage. So and of course, we're not getting the rare earth minerals to rebuild our military. And of course, dollars are flying back. Nobody's buying treasuries. So you're going to see some huge inflation. That's why I keep stocking up. I keep telling you that. But I hope that some people will look back on these videos and go, damn, that guy was right about everything. What can I say? Let's get to the Russia situation real quick. I know I'm kind of bouncing here. Well, actually, I'm sure I got another video clip. Let's put a clip in right here. I don't even have a list of the videos I got. We'll put it in right here.
In every direction. And going back to Starobilsk, I watch foreign TV channels from time to time to see what kind of a media landscape there is and what the international viewers have to watch. It's a disgrace. They're openly deceiving their citizens. When we made this strike in response to their atrocity against children, we struck the Kiev region, and the Kiev strike was covered from early morning to late at night. Russia's an aggressor. They caused so much destruction. You, as the media, I would say, should be ashamed for your colleagues. They didn't mention the tragedy in Starobilsk even once. The fact that children died, that it was a targeted attack against our children.
Okay, whatever that was, I hope you got something out of it. You know, sometimes the videos speak for themselves. But I do, when we get to Russia, I have a video that I want to show you up front, because this is going to explain things to you. Now, I'll give you the background on this video real quick. If you didn't know, the United States struck well, it was not a girls' school. There was 3 boys, and I want to say 22 girls. Anyway, it's in the video that we killed for no damn reason in Russia. Now, Russia has already been getting pissed off, you know, about the whole situation. They're getting tired of the United States attacking them. In fact, I just saw before they came out, we had attacked their oil refinery again. So this is getting to be a serious war between the United States and Russia. You know, using Ukraine somewhat as a proxy, but mostly mercenaries at this point. So I don't know, but anyway, let's watch that video and then we'll talk about it.
Настя летит. Я боюсь, Настя. Настя, я в завалах. Настя, помоги. Настя, помоги мне. Убила.
I'm scared. Help me. Those were the final words of 19-year-old Dasha Serdyuk. At 1 a.m, in the middle of the Ukrainian attack on a dormitory packed with students from Starobilsk College, she managed to send this video to a relative. Despite the late hour, the reply came instantly. The messages were marked as read, but no answer ever followed. Over the next several days, rescuers would pull 21 bodies of children and teenagers from beneath the rubble, all killed that night in the Ukrainian strike. Dasha was among them.
Все нормально, не переживай. Где все остальные? Ты одна здесь?
Вот, тут еще девушка под этим, пожалуйста, ребята,
That night, Kiev unleashed its full force on these children. Several waves of drones were followed by blasts from heavy munitions. Only minutes spared one strike from the next. The bodies of murdered children lay right there in the corridors. Roman Antonov, commander of a local fire and rescue unit, said that children simply had no time to escape.
Прилетов уже было несколько. Первый прилет, он заставил детей двинуться с места. Это самое было страшное, когда они начали бежать по лестничной клетке. Они старались как-то спастись. Много было зажато. В первые моменты мы не могли их освобождать, потому что был повторный удар. Дети пытались выбежать, кто мог, выбегал, кто-то и выползал даже, потому что вот мы когда поднимались по лестничной клетке, там даже валялись обувь, были прилеты и везде звучала сирена. Но все равно те, которые были наверху, рядом, мы их старались разгребать.
The search and rescue operation was only completed late on the second night. The official toll, 21 dead and 44 wounded. For the families, the most horrifying moment had arrived, identifying the bodies. Those who survived the raid said the Ukrainian forces left them virtually no chance of getting out alive.
I'd gone to bed, girls woke me up. They said the siren went off again. We started running out, and then the strike hit. I was covered by the stove, and the girls couldn't get me out. I regained consciousness after a while and started calling for help. People started to clean up the rubble. They heard my screams and rescued me.
I didn't even make it to the door. The impact came. A slab fell on me. I was buried. I heard the next drone. It hit me. The slab broke apart. I fell even lower. Nearby, I heard my girlfriend screaming, calling for help. By then, my hands were already all scraped up, and my leg was injured. I tried to help her, but at that moment, I didn't realize she was buried under the slabs. I managed to give her some air. That was all I could do. Another strike came, and I was even lower down. I was gradually falling from the 5th floor down to the 3rd.
I started to get up and a brick fell on my head. I fell back down. I heard the drone flying. I got up quickly and took a step when the impact wave threw me outside.
The strike was targeted, and the target was the children themselves. There were no military facilities nearby.
Children's toys. Children's toys. This is the military they're looking for here.
There is never anyone there except the children and the security guard. There are only children and the security guard there at night. If it's daytime, the children and the teaching staff are there, along with the administration. There can't be anyone else there.
Yelena Yurieva teaches at the college and lived in the dormitory alongside her students. The moment the shelling began, she understood what was happening. Had she not reacted as quickly as she did, the death toll could have been even higher.
I realized right away what was going on because my bed was right next to the window and the kids and I ran out on the highway. That is, I had a little more than 30 children with me. Our basement is under a 5-story building and it's a good thing we didn't go down there because you've seen what it looks like now.
The surviving students have now been temporarily taken in by college staff members. Russian President Vladimir Putin promised that everything possible would be done to help the victims recover from the tragedy. According to him, Kiev spared neither planning nor firepower.
Удар не был случайным.
Strike was not accidental. It occurred in 3 waves, 16 drones targeting the same location. This is a display of neo-Nazism. This once again confirms the terrorist nature of the Kiev regime. The Kiev regime certainly needs such crimes to divert attention from what is happening both at the front and within the country, and to provoke a reaction from Russia. We know that. We have repeatedly been through it. They will then put all the blame on us for all the aggression and all the consequences of such crimes.
Ukrainian markings and engravings on the drone fragments found after the strike left no doubt whose drones they were. And the Starlink terminals attached to the UAVs removed any doubt about how the targeting was carried out. Every drone struck exactly where its operators intended. But anyway, Kiev made no real attempt to deny responsibility for the attack on the dormitory. Ukrainian propagandists claimed that they had supposedly killed either officers or maybe intelligence operatives, as though the footage from the scene showed radios and military maps, not children's toys and notepads scattered throughout the ruins. Kiev's Western allies echoed the same narrative, refusing to acknowledge the heartbreaking images coming out of Starobilsk. And at the emergency session of the United Nations Security Council convened by Russia, they looked everyone straight in the eye and said that they felt no shame.
It's a premeditated strike on a civilian object where children study and live, conducted at night time when the dormitory was full. It was clearly conducted with the goal of a maximum number of victims. According to international humanitarian law, it is a war crime. Are you yourselves not ashamed to say what we're hearing right now?
No, we do not feel shame.
In an attempt to appeal to basic common sense, the Russian Foreign Ministry invited accredited foreign journalists to visit the site of the tragedy. CNN was apparently on vacation, and the BBC declined the offer outright. Among the reporters who did travel to Starobilsk, not all were willing to speak openly about what they saw.
Tell us, what do you think about this? What are your impressions?
I think journalists are not the heroes of the story. It's not for them to express their opinions.
But does it look like it was staged?
I do not make judgments. We only report the facts. You know that very well.
And what facts? Which ones do you think are the most important?
Ukrainian public figures have repeatedly spoken about the people of Donbass in openly contemptuous terms, making little effort to hide their view of them as second-class citizens. Some journalists have explicitly referred to them as excess people and genetic garbage. The statements made by Ukraine's former culture minister and former president speak for themselves.
The situation in the east and south is devoid of consciousness. Moreover, when we talked about genetics in Zaporozhye, in the Donbass, these are cities of imported populations. There is no genetics. These are deliberately brought in.
Because we'll have jobs, they won't. We will have pensions. They won't. We will take care of pensioners and children. They won't have it. Our children will go to school, to kindergartens, and they will have them in their basements.
Shortly after the terrorist attack, the personal data of employees at the Starobilsk College was published on Mirotvorets, an extremist website linked to the Ukrainian state. This database of individuals deemed undesirable by the authorities in Kiev has been meticulously maintained since 2014 and effectively functions as a hit list. By adding them to the site, Ukraine made it clear once again that in its eyes, these teachers and academic staff are less than human. One student's mother remained in contact with her son throughout the entire attack. The most terrifying moment for any parent is not knowing whether your child will answer the next phone call.
We were talking. Then he said, the shelling is underway. The connection was interrupted. You can understand my concern, and then I couldn't get through the line. Is he alive or not? Or did the shelling hit their dorm?
Russia's Human Rights Commissioner Yana Lantratova also visited the site of the attack alongside foreign journalists. According to her, the cold-blooded and calculated mass killing of children in Starobilsk was a direct consequence of Kiev's policy toward the people of Donbass.
As a mother, as a human rights advocate, I can't imagine what they feel at this moment. We're just grieving with them. We recently discussed this with colleagues. St. Nicholas Cathedral is nearby, and it hasn't been closed since the Civil War. It has not been closed since the German occupation. There have been memorial services going on here, but never have there been so many small children buried. Just imagine, they were born in 2006. When they were about 7 years old, the strikes were already coming. They say, we're fighting for our territory, we're fighting for our people, but they divide people into first and second classes. For some, here's a humanitarian corridor, and for others, they're labeled as genetic garbage. They hit our most precious, so the most painful. But most important, they hit the target, and then they repeatedly hit it again, so that the rubble could not be cleared away.
Every 30 seconds, every minute or two, there's another hit.
New shelling.
Ukraine did not kill just any children in Starobilsk. It killed children that it still considers its own citizens. Kiev, which never misses an opportunity to claim these territories as its own, has for years systematically terrorized the people living there.
Я наблюдала. Вспышка, и летит дрон сюда, сюда. Мы просто не знали, что там институт. То есть целенаправленно. Это не могло быть ошибкой. У нас нету здесь никаких военных. Они знают, и кто это наводил. Твари, сдохните. Мы уже не знаем, как... Пойдите на мир, договоритесь. Уйдите с нашего Донбасса. Это наш Донбасс, это русская земля. И мы... Ukraine
bragged about not being involved in any military conflicts until 2014, and then this happens.
The horrific attack left no one in Starobilsk untouched. Residents brought flowers and toys in a steady stream to this spontaneous memorial dedicated to the angels of Starobilsk.
У вас кто из близких погиб?
Подруги.
Подруги, а как звали?
Виктория, Александра. Очень много, я всех знала.
А вы учились вместе или как?
Да. Жили практически в одной комнате. Я приехала из общежития, выселилась после Нового года, но я знала всех. Они были очень светлыми людьми. Мы всегда, когда виделись, они всегда улыбались.
I don't know what kind of thought were guiding them, but it is barbarism, pure barbarism. This is Nazism.
For rescuer Roman Antonov, the tragedy struck especially close to home.
У меня дочка 17 лет. Она на следующий год собиралась сюда поступать. Знаете, была боль внутри, вот где-то вот здесь. Но это моя работа. Я должен был делать. Я должен был хладнокровно выполнять свои обязанности. А это самое главное в нашей работе.
What do you say to the people who did this?
Ничего не скажу. Я хочу их взять, привезти сюда и показать родителей. Этот плач, крик, когда ты выносишь на одеяле ребенка, а ты не можешь удержать мать. Вот я и хочу им это показать. Здесь были дети, тут всегда были дети. Здесь даже намека на военных не было. Это было целенаправленно удар по детям. Я не знаю зачем, но было удар тупо по детям.
Since 2015, Donetsk has been home to the Alley of Angels, a memorial to children who never got the chance to grow up, children killed by Ukrainian forces. The children from the Starobilsk dormitory are now part of that grim list as well, a list that has been growing for nearly 12 years now, a list that Kiev continues to add new names to.
All right, so that was the girls' school that got blown up. And so Russia, they said, that's it. We're done. The gloves are coming off. And boy, did they, man. They hit the crap. If you want to watch the whole story, the Military Slumber channel, the last video, I watched it this morning. They really broke down all of the stuff that took place in this attack. And I don't know where he gets his information. He said that because Russia sent 650 drones in, along with missiles. And he said the drones were all decoys. None of them had any bombs on them. So if Russia can just throw away 650 drones, because obviously we were flooding their air defenses so that they couldn't defend against the missiles. Now those missiles are expensive. They did not use an Oreshnik. So that was interesting. But they did use the Kensols. There was like 3 different types of missiles. And man, they hit targets in, I want to say 4 cities in Ukraine, 2 of them now are completely without electricity. How long could you go without electricity? I don't think I could go very long without electricity. So Russia has punched the lights out. And I want to say 2 of the cities, I know the power went out in Kiev. I'm not sure how long. And then, of course, they took down a lot of military targets. There was a couple of warehouses. I think there was 1 ammo dump at least, maybe 2. Some administrative, locations where they were building military equipment and drones, supposedly. I assume Russia's got good intelligence on all that because they put out a report about what they hit and why. I won't read all the details to you. I even had a tough time reading it. I was like, man, I love the detail, but this is kind of boring reading. And I'm glad that not too many civilians were killed in that strike. And of course, the military summary channel, he says he's expecting another big wave of drones, probably today. And so when they hit, these will have bombs on them because they've already hit the big stuff with the missiles, so they don't really need to put the missiles on there. They'll just follow up. Probably the Russians are looking at their intel right now saying, did we get this? Did we get that? And of course, as Scott Ritter will tell you, the mice are scurrying now. So they're seeing where people are coming out from their shelters underground. They're going to see where they're going. They're going to identify a new target list, and then they're going to unleash. And that intel takes a while to develop. So that's why, having it happen today is probably about right, because that strike took place on June 1st. So today's the 3rd. Alrighty. So that's everything on Russia. Everything on Israel, Lebanon, and Iran. I was listening to the radio and Fox News. I tell you what, man. Anybody who watches Fox News is a flipping idiot, man. Oh my God, all they do is lie about everything. And so they got on the channel. This is a special report from Fox News. Trump has set his new peace plan to Iran for them to consider. And of course, little Marco, he comes out and he's going, they've got to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Well, it was open until you bombed him, little Marco. And we're going to make that happen. Oh, I forgot to talk about the fleet offshore and the reports that I'm getting. Now, you got to remember, those ships have been at sea halfway around the world for a long time. And just the logistics alone, those sailors, they got to eat. And from what I understand, we're down to not that many ships. So the morale on those ships has got to be really, really low. I imagine also, they got to just be burnt out. I'm going to tell you, during the war in 2003, we went 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I got sick. And even then, the doctor sent me back to work. He says, I'm not going to let you skirt out of your duty, young man. I couldn't even move. I had the flu so bad. In fact, the guys felt sorry for me. I had to curl up in the heat on a bench outside the shop and just lay there and suffer. So I couldn't even go back to my bed. And that was on the flight line, of course, because of that damn doctor. That tells you what kind of people we have in the military back then. I can't imagine what it's like today. That's going to be another big problem. Oh, I forgot about the legislation. Oh my God. Yeah, there's another 1,000-page bill before Congress, but the Israeli lobby has inserted a clause in there that basically merges the IDF with the American military. And so they'll have, if it goes through in Congress, it looks like they're going to approve it. And I guess Trump will sign it. He's owned by Israel. They own the whole government. And so that'll give Israel access to all of our satellites, all of our weapons. We'll be nothing but ruled by a foreign nation with the militaries merged, and they have access to all of our infrastructure. Now, if you didn't know, Israel has provided our intel to China and Russia once upon a time. So now, think of what they could sell them now once they've got access to all of our military secrets, everything will be part of the IDF. And I guess we'll soon have IDF generals in charge of the Army. You know, at that point, all they got to do is snap their fingers and all of our military, you know, leaves, departs, because their interests are not aligned with our interests. I can tell you that right now. You know, they're interested in taking over the Middle East and the greater Israel project, whereas we should be looking out for the United States. Of course, our Congress and Trump don't give a shit about the American people, you know, other than the fact that we're just cattle to be culled. And then, of course, we're got to be, you know, we're just serfs so that they can steal everything we have. That's the only value that we have to the U.S. Congress. Man, whew, been going on for a while. Anything else I can think of? Israel. We talked about silver prices. I checked it before I came out. It's once again hovering between 75 and 80. And gold is still between 4,500 and 5,000. I didn't check the platinum price. Imagine it's hovering about the same. So right now, precious metals are just kind of hanging at about the same value they've been. Kind of reminds me of the days when silver, I bought it years ago, and it got up into the 20s, and I think it stayed in the 20s, $20, you know, for a coin for a number of years. It looked like silver was never going to do anything. But you got to remember, silver is also a commodity that we need to manufacture our weapons and our technology. Oh, I ran the numbers for the percentage of the budget, and I didn't realize this. At the peak of the British Empire, 15% of their GDP went to maintain their military and their empire. Guess how much of our GDP in the United States goes into the military-industrial complex? 30%. Guess how much Russia's GDP they spend on their military, even though they're at war for the most part? 7%. So you can tell this is a dying empire. No way we survive all of this corruption. Well, that's another thing. Supposedly, everybody keeps saying that Trump's family's making a ton of money. I'm going to spin around because I'm getting into the crunchy leaves here. And I'll continue past those because we're getting to the end of the video. If I think of something else, we'll add it. Just want to say peace out, stay free. Follow me once again. Subscribe, you know, like the video if you did. And, you know, get on the Burn Report. Get off the Florida Men News Network. I still got the cybersecurity guy channel on YouTube, and I post there. But, you know, it's getting to be old hat. You know, maybe someday when I restart the cybersecurity business, if I ever do, I'll start posting there, you know, real cybersecurity videos instead of just, because I want the geopolitical channel to be the Burn exclusively. Oh, and by the way, I've been getting all my music up on the Burn. I hope that you're going to enjoy it. You know, I'm redoing all the thumbnails and the descriptions and everything for those videos. So they're pretty good. I haven't produced anything new for a while. All right, peace out, stay free. Oh, damn, I hate making too many clips, but I completely forgot. I always listen to the video and see what I forgot to say, you know, because I'm trying to cover everything. But I forgot to tell you, you know, I gave you that story that they said that they sent the peace negotiation papers to Iran. Iran says they're not negotiating, period, at all. Zipola. And they're posting that all over X. So there are but, you know, Fox News reports something. Oh, yeah, we're negotiating. You know, they're going to, and Trump will say something stupid like, they'll come to our terms. Iran is really desperate right now. Their economy's crashing. We've destroyed their entire Navy. We've destroyed all of Iran. They're begging us. They're begging the United States. Oh, hell no. None of that's true. And that's what Fox News reports. There are no, read my lips, there are no negotiations taking place right now with Iran, nor does Iran want to negotiate. And that's why I said things are going to get worse, because the Straits of Hormuz, there are boats going through, but from what I understand, the boats are going out. None are coming in, okay? Because nobody wants to risk $1 billion tanker by going in to get some oil when the war could kick off again at any minute, you know, with the strike. So Iran were slowly but surely getting all the boats out of the Middle East, which, you know, once they drop their cargoes, there's not going to be anything going in to pick up new cargo. So you can see the world is getting worse and worse off. And guess who's getting blamed for all of it? The United States. From what I understand, things are really getting desperate down in Australia right now. If you're from Australia watching this video, let me know if that's true. And other places in the world are seeing shortages. Heck, where was it I just saw? Oh yeah, this was an interesting story. Crimea right now, because of all the damage that Ukraine has done to the Russian oil infrastructure, they're having trouble getting oil right now. And there was a line of, I don't know why Russia had them all bunched up, but oil tankers all bunched up that they're going to put on ships to roll them over to Crimea to solve the oil shortage there. There was a huge line of cars. It's like a couple miles long to get gas in Crimea. I had no idea there were any shortages in Russia. And you say, well, why don't they just go across the bridge? Well, imagine if Ukraine hit one of those tankers with a drone. They could blow a hole in the whole damn bridge. So that's why Russia doesn't want to risk sending those oil, trucks over the bridge. But I will tell Russia one thing: if anybody in Russia ever watches any of my videos, you need to spread those oil tankers out, because the picture that I saw, and obviously they're probably geolocated by now by Ukraine. If they come in there and attack that area with them all bunched together like that, that could be huge. I would take those tankers and I would just run them down the road, pull them off to the side and space them out about, 50 yards apart. That way Ukraine, if they attack, they might get 1-2 tankers. It'd be a big explosion. But man, if you got them all right next to each other, it's just like an ammo dump. You put everything in an ammo dump, one hit on that ammo dump and everything goes up. Or you've seen, let's use an example. You've seen a fireworks store go up, haven't you? Once that first firework goes off in that fireworks store, the whole damn place goes down, And that would be true of those tankers, and that's true of an ammo dump. That's why you never have everything in one ammo dump like we did down in Kuwait. We were damn lucky to survive that war. That was the dumbest setup I'd ever seen. Toilets overflowing, everything in one ammo dump. You should have seen them ammo guys. They were shaking. They were so scared because, one spark, and that base would have been a crater. It would have been like a nuclear bomb going off. That's how much we had in one ammo dump, which was a stupid way to do it. We should have had those munitions spread out, at least a mile apart in multiple ammo dumps. But, our leadership in the military, even back then, are really stupid people. That's all I got to say. Alrighty, hopefully that'll be it for the video. I can't think of anything else. Let me cry one more time. It's hot. It's damn hot. Hot enough to do some crock pot cooking. Woo! Oh my God. If you could see me, I'm like a wet rag right now. Oh, something else just came up. Man, absolutely miserable day. Heat index is about 100. I had to come out in the middle of the afternoon, which is horrible here in Florida. That's why usually I hike in the evenings. But we're getting thunderstorms later today, and that's getting to be the pattern. So I could have gotten up here maybe in the early morning. Problem is that in the morning, everything's wet. And as things heat up, it's like a steam bath. So the evenings are best. I had a breeze on the way out. I know, I'll shut up. Let's get to the news. I guess there was a court in D.C., a circuit court, and they're saying that banning transgender people from the military, it was a split decision, but it looks like it's under review. So it looks like they're going to want to put transgender people back in the military. Now, I will tell you this. If you got a peanut allergy, or you got flat feet, or you got a joint problem or anything, they can ban you from the military, okay? There are certain diseases, if you had them, they can ban you from the military. How they used to be able to ban you from the military for being fat. You know, from what one of them understand, the recruiting numbers are so low, they're taking fatter and fatter people these days. So this makes no sense whatsoever. You know, if you're going to have an effective military, you got to be able to pick and choose who you're going to let in. And the reason I wanted to talk about that was if you've got a son or a daughter, don't let them join the military. They're nothing but mercenaries at this point. Mercenaries and killers. You know, we're blowing up civilian boats off of Venezuela. We're killing kids in Russia. You know, we bombed Iran. Day one, we killed 230 little girls in Iran. You know, you don't want your son or daughter growing up in that type of military that has no regard for human life and are mercenaries for Israel. You know, that's all that they are. And of course, a lot of them are what we call sheep-dipped. You know, we got military personnel that are over in Ukraine getting killed. You're not hearing anything about it. Probably in other places that we don't know where the military is, they're getting killed. So you know, and of course, it's all hush-hush now. At least in the past, the military news was somewhat transparent, but none of it is now. And if you're really desperate for a job, I've told you in past videos, Russia is looking for people. And the job market over there, from what I understand, is booming right now. Okay, but you're going to have a skill. You can't just go to Russia and say, I want to move here. You know, if you're a plumber, or you can become a plumber or an electrician, or you can get some other type of skill. You know, Moscow Connect is the tool that you can use. From what I understand, as long as you got that skill, and I imagine, you know, fill out a little bit of paperwork, you can go over to Russia and get a job and make a living, at least until the United States empire is done crumbling. And then maybe, you know, if you want to come back in 10 years or so, you know, you probably could. I'm assuming the United States will look a lot different than it is now, but there'll probably be places that are, you know, that do well. You know, one guy was pointing out that the South, you know, a lot of people in the South still fly the rebel flags, and they never gave up, you know, and said that, you know, the South is still occupied territory in their mind. So you could say the South may rise again. You never know. All right, just wanted to get that out of the way. Tell your kids, move to Russia, man. That's where the jobs are. We're getting there. At least I'm on the paved part of the trail. I want to talk about AI for just a minute. After all, I do call myself that cybersecurity guy and give you my thoughts. I use Grok quite a bit. Grok's pretty useful. But it's how you phrase your question that matters to an AI. You know, and they just go out and sweep the internet, so the information you get is sometimes incorrect, so it's not perfect. But it is a very useful tool. And if you word your questions right or ask it different ways, you get pretty close to the truth most of the time. Now, everybody's talking about how the AI is going to be the future. Let me talk about something. I priced the RAM. I just built a couple of computers about 6 months ago. Okay, I was paying, I think it was about 1/2 of what RAM costs today. It's doubled in price, actually more than doubled. And the M2 drives that I bought, they've tripled in price. So I think I paid like $1,000 for one of my M2 drives. It's $3,000 now. So these AI densities, not only they're going to cost a fortune to build, there's going to be a chip shortage, which is going to exacerbate the problem because of the shortage of helium that's used in the manufacture of computer equipment. And then, of course, they have huge power requirements. So it costs a tremendous amount of money to operate one of these AI data centers. Plus, you've got to have all your UPS backups. So that means hundreds of batteries. You got to have that data center at a certain temperature. That means, you got to have huge coolant systems. I don't see where AI, and of course, they use a ton of water also. So, and huge diesel generators. I know because I worked in the data center for a while. So I'm not sure that business strategy is going to work. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to get cost prohibitive as the years move out. And, maybe there'll be a consolidation and certain AIs like ChatGPT, maybe Grok might survive. But I don't know. I don't know where all of it's going to come from. Plus, they're saying AI is going to take all of these jobs. Well, like I told you, a lot of the time, the information that you get is not perfect. So there's still going to be a human element, I think, around on a lot of these jobs that AI is supposed to replace. These are just my thoughts. Give me your thoughts below. Tell me what you think the future is of AI.
AI to rule the world. Mega billionaires control everything. Our children will own nothing and be happy. Robot and drones on the move. Nobody notices as the Terminator moves. One day a robot may visit. Then who knows where the human stands against these robotic hands. The dollar death blow is at hand as God's metal rules the land. Silver, gold, platinum, palladium rise while the empire's paper dies. Venezuela raid, the death knell rings. Boomers clutch their homes, deaf to the screams. Generation Z coming home to the ashes. Apathetic masses watch it crash and flash. Corruption and greed have condemned the Western nations to death and famine. Our parents have let us down. United States Constitution in shreds, as no one knows what it says. The government set up to rule the republic is no more as Trump rule. Markets bleed out, hyperinflation's bite. Savings evaporate overnight. Debt towers high, no end in sight. Yet screens glow bright, distractions ignite. We scroll through the fall, numb and sedated. Warnings ignored, futures annihilated. Breadlines forming, but the feeds updated. Voices all sleep as the West is faded. Parents on the pavement, ghosts in the rain. Serve the flag, now forgotten pain. Tents in the shadows of glass towers high. Corporate empire grown with empty floors, no goodbye. Skyscrapers hollow echoes in the halls, while heroes beg beneath the LED walls. No one looks down from the penthouse view. Apathy's the chain that binds me and you. But the kids ain't sleeping no more. Fire in their veins. TikTok sparks the storm. Memes turn to chain. Price out checks on the Nepo link. Relation exposed. Discord folks. Streets explode. No more comatose. From ashes of the dollar, they rise with the rage against the code. The towers, the robotic cage. Oh, nothing will burn it down. Rewrite the page. Generations in uprising, breaking out of the stage. Western halls of power, cold and detached. Leaders feast on power, citizens unmatched. Freeze the funds for the needy, quotas for the chase. Naturalize the dreamers, mask it as security grace. No care for the broken, the vets and the cold. Priorities twisted, stories left untold. They raid foreign lands while homes turn to dust. Governments betray us in a lease they trust. But try to speak out in the shadows descend. Algorithms brought on posts disappear, no defense. Shadow ban silence, the truth in the feed. H-gates, locked doors, what the young need. Bans on the platform, surveillance in sight. Names flagged as threats in the dead of night. They muzzle the voices that call for the change. Gangs see censored, but the fury's unchained. We built the machines to save our souls. Now they watch as apathy takes control. Empty offices loom like tombstones tall. Homeless vets shiver, government stalls. Silenced online, but the streets call loud. Youth break the chains, defy the crowd. God's metal rises on the graves we dug, but the censor rolled back. The rebellion's plugged. No! Yeah, to rule the world. No escape, no play. Mega billionaire fade, but the code sets us free. Our children owe nothing, but they won't be happy. Under robotic hands, we'll fight for eternity.